Hi again, Attorney Steve Vondran, software compliance lawyer, and we are talking in this PowerPoint about Microsoft SAM audit process, the SAM audit. Okay, so this is designed to help you if you receive one of those Microsoft letters asking you to submit to an audit. Okay, so let's get rolling here. Okay, license, this is also, by the way, known as the license verification process, okay? So some people call it a SAM audit, some people call it the license verification process. But in a nutshell, here's what it is. It's a software self-audit process for your company. It's Microsoft, either randomly or just checking in on you, or they have some reasonable suspicion to believe that maybe you're engaged in software infringement, having unlicensed software, which is, basically a violation of their copyrights, okay? A violation of their federal copyrights. So this can be authorized by your volume licensing agreement or your OEM license, etc. So these can be authorized. In other words, these are the things they hold you to it. They say you have to submit, or, we may do this, we may raid your company, we may file a lawsuit, all kinds of things. So they really push some leverage on you. This is by obviously Microsoft, one of the largest, if not the largest software company in the world. And so you have to take these serious. Basically, these can be sold as a benefit to you. In other words, hi, we're just helping you. This is helping you determine your licensing ownership position. This is something that can be really great for you going forward, so you always understand where you're at. So it can be sold to you as a benefit. It's a chance, an opportunity for you to true up for any known shortages. In other words, to bring them current. You're missing, three licenses for Windows Server. You have a chance to bring those current without penalties, without attorney fees, without lawsuits. So there is an upside to this. I don't want to make it sound negative, but there is an upside. Okay, for the upside for Microsoft as well, chance for them to sell more software, servers, licenses, Microsoft Office products, operating system, etc. It's a profit center, okay? So that's license verification in a nutshell. Let's get down to it now. Do you need legal counsel? Let's jump right to it. No, you do not need an attorney. You can handle this yourself. Companies do handle this themselves. And, there's a wide number of things I've seen out there as far as how many of these letters are being sent. But there are probably a good number of companies that are just handling it internally, getting their IT team on it. There's other companies that may hire a software consulting company to help them get it hammered out and fill out the spreadsheet and whatnot. But here I have a list of my top 5 reasons you might want to have a law firm like ours assist you. Okay, 1, let's say you have serious software infringement. You have a ton of infringing copies. That may be something. You may get in, and oftentimes you end up on the phone with somebody, and if you're saying, well, we have 50 offices and we have no software licenses, you could be in serious trouble. In an instance like that, that may be elevated to legal counsel, or you could end up in a more serious audit. So if you have serious software infringement, one thing you'll note, if you do call in, you'll note that they do try to tape the phone calls. And, it's really hard to opt out of that. And if you're not thinking about it, you may end up just handing over all the evidence on a tape-recorded phone call. So you have to be very, very careful. So that's 1. 2, you don't want the hassle of dealing with a Microsoft software consultant. In other words, they're asking you for information. They're sending you emails. They're going back and forth. They're making you feel like a criminal. You're subjecting you to an audit while you're trying to run your business. You may just want to have a firm like ours act as the middle person, the go-between, to slow them down, to slow down the process and help you get this resolved, okay? So that's number 2. 3, you want to ensure confidentiality in any settlement. So you're going through this negotiation process, and hopefully you're going to find a few shortages. You're going to pay for them. You're going to get them settled without all these additional penalties. But you want to make sure this is all confidential. You want to make sure they're not posting press releases on their website. Hey, we just knocked down another big tech company, another graphic designer, another architect, another engineer's gone down. Big settlement. We're the software industry's winning again. So you don't want those kinds of things because those do happen. Number 4, you want to ensure there are no infringement penalties, attorney fees. So again, you want to make sure that the exposure is minimal, and that's what we can help you do. 5, other software audits may be triggered. Okay, this is a little known fact. So you may end up in a Microsoft audit, and you may find that other audits are triggered during the process. In other words, a Business Software Alliance audit. Microsoft is a member of the Business Software Alliance, and they may say, this company, they don't care about their software usage and their licensing, and they're probably missing other stuff as well. You might as well go out and audit them. So being involved in a Microsoft SAM audit could actually trigger another audit with the BSA or the SIIA, Software Industry Information Association. They do their own audits as well. So these are 5 good reasons you may say, I need a copyright counsel. What is SAM anyway? SAM stands for Software Asset Management, and that's basically every company should have a plan to manage and monitor their software licensing, proofs of purchases, and installs. In other words, software, when you install software, needs to be paid for. You need to have a proof of the licensing. You need to know what it covers, and you should not exceed the scope of the license. If you start exceeding scope of the license, then you could be deemed to be in violation of the agreement and in copyright infringement, and putting yourself in a situation for that. So great companies have SAM. The biggest, best companies, they know what they're doing. This is a sort of a complicated area of running your business, managing all the licenses because of the terms and the durations and upgrading and all the different departments you have. So it can be very, very complicated, but it's very, very important. So this is one process. I guess it's Microsoft's gift to you to help you, if you're not already thinking along those terms, to get yourself into a SAM situation, okay? And again, having good SAM in the days of social media, one breach going all over the place, everybody knows your business. It's important to try to limit your legal exposure and prevent a social media reputational blowout, okay? You avoid the blowout. That's what you want, okay? All right, how did we end up on the radar? That's a question we get. How did they find out about me? I'm just some guy here or some company, mid-sized company in the middle of the United States. What the heck is going on here? Well, again, these could be random letters. You may also get an email. These could be random letters or emails. They could be triggered. It could be a possible referral from the BSA. We talked about that, or the SIIA. Sometimes you may have a crash report and your computers or someone in your networks in your company is sending a message back to Microsoft, and they're saying, what's going on here? This isn't matching up. Where did this software come from? And that's triggering something. Illegal internet downloads. This is big. This is big with P2P sites, peer-to-peer. That's peer-to-peer sites like BitTorrent, where you can literally download software, no charge. I mean, basically people are sharing software files in what they call the swarm. I love that, the swarm. So there's a lot of people sharing their bandwidth and making downloading of big files a whole lot easier because of the swarm. But people are downloading and sharing copyrighted software, and this is becoming a problem. And it's a problem not just with software, but also with larger files like movies, books, comics, things like that. So the illegal internet downloads, and like I said, these are technology companies you're dealing with. We'll have we'll have Autodesk and Microsoft and these kinds of companies. They're tech companies. They know what's going on. They find a way to get that information. Excuse me. They'll find a way to get that information, and then they can use that information against you. We've heard incidents of trying to download a security patch and triggering some illegal operating system software. So downloading security patches and those kinds of things. Again, triggering notice to Microsoft something's going on here that's unlicensed, and in forcing them to take a closer look. In other words, informants, consultants. This is another area. We have heard of informants. Literally, we've had people that are internal people that may be whistleblowing. Basically, somebody in your company has reported you to the BSA or even Microsoft directly and said, my boss is using a bunch of illegal software, and I feel funny being around here. I feel like I'm going to be a criminal, so I don't want to be involved in this kind of software piracy. So that's another possibility. Consultants, we've heard of consultants coming in, looking around, and maybe even installing infringing copies, and then moving on, and trying to collect a reward or whatnot. So there's a lot of different ways that you can end up on somebody's radar. These are some of the main ways that we see, but there are others. All right, Microsoft SAM audit process. Let's get down to it. I've got this down into 5 steps, so I'm going to try to roll through it as quick as I can. I know everybody's busy out there. Step 1, you get the letter or email requesting engagement. Okay, it may look like a spam email. You may try to ignore it and it keeps coming back. The problem, if you continue to ignore it, is, of course, these software companies are giant. These publishers, they can come after you. They can elevate it to their legal department. They can send it to outside counsel, a copyright counsel, intellectual property law firm. So it may be tempted to just throw it in the trash and hope it goes away. And it could go away, and sometimes it does, but it could come back, and it could be elevated to a more extensive audit, like the Microsoft LCC audit. I have that there in yellow. LCC, Microsoft Legal Contracts and Compliance. So this can be a mandatory type of audit and can include fines, fees, penalties, etc. And don't forget, there are stories out there, and there was one that just came up the other day, and I don't know what software company it was, but there was another big recent software raid. So you have to really think about these things, because a software raid is going to, obviously I heard about it. It's going to make the social media news, and you're going to have a real issue on your hands. And let's not forget, copyright infringement is and can be a crime. So this is very serious. So it's tough to just say, well, just put it in the shredder, don't worry about it. If you're concerned whether it's a scam or spam or something like that, call Microsoft at their headquarters numbers. You can find it on the Microsoft website, and you can confirm the person's name who's on there, and usually you'll see a Microsoft.com email address, so that should give you some assurance. But if you're unsure, give them a call, and that will help you confirm that this is legitimate. Okay. Again, number 6, discuss with legal counsel. You may want to ignore, you may want to engage. These are things that you need to talk with experienced intellectual property counsel attorney. Okay. Intellectual property counsel lawyer. Okay, so let's go to the next one. Step 2, you'll have a spreadsheet. You fill out the spreadsheet. It is a very extensive, detailed spreadsheet, so it's going to take you some time. You may want to do it yourself with your internal IT team. You may want to get an outside software consultant involved. These are your decisions, things that you need to discuss. The Excel spreadsheet will have questions about your software installs and usage. What are you using? What do you have? What are your applications, servers, operating systems? They'll drill down on what type of CAL licensing do you have? How many users and devices are accessing, critical applications. So they'll want to drill down. They'll want to know about your company and its affiliates. So there's a lot of questions that they're going to have. They're going to ask you what you claim to own. They're going to ask you for what you believe your licensing position to be. So all this is going to go down in the deployment summary, and that's a document that gets sent over to the software consultant. Okay. Software installs, again, questions that you may deal with. Windows operating, all the different versions your organization may be running, different versions, 2003, 2008, 2012, your applications, Microsoft Office, whatnot, Visio, your servers, what type of servers you have, Microsoft Developer Studio tools, Visual Studios, and CAL licensing. Those are some of the main things that you're going to be seeing. Now, one question we have is, well, is Microsoft, is their database foolproof? No. Their licensing database, which they're going to take your information on the deployment summary, and they're going to compare it with their licensing records in their database, and they're going to match it up, and they're going to decide your ownership position. Are you good? Are you short? Do you have more software than you're paying for? So that's kind of what the process is. But the answer to this question came up just the other day is no, they're not 100% accurate. You may be claiming to be short on licenses when you're not. So you need to be ready to defend your position and force them to prove how and if you are short. So in other words, usually in a copyright audit, the burden is on the person using the software to prove their licensing. That's the general rule. But in circumstances like this, you're going to want to. There may be circumstances where you say your information is simply inaccurate, and we need some proof that we're actually short. So there may be these sticking points. Another good reason you would want copyright counsel in there is to make that fight for you and to say, no, we're going to stand the ground here. We've paid for this, or we can't find the receipt, but this is licensed. You have no other contrary information, and we're sticking by it. So there may be times when you actually need to be forceful and hold your ground. Microsoft response, step 3, Microsoft SAM consultant reviews your response with the SAM team. So you submit, the consultant, now the last guy I spoke with, I think he was from Australia, so they're out living the good life somewhere, and just, have a little team with them, supposedly a software team, and they are reviewing your responses. They're checking against their database. They're running reports to see where you are. So again, number 2, deployment summaries compared with a Microsoft licensing database. Example, their volume licensing records, OEM or FPP, boxed retail products. So they're trying to match up your licensing to see where you stand and if you have all the proofs that you need. The SAM consultant, now this is jump to the yellow real quick. SAM consultant is not per se an auditor. What you'll see is more of a sales type of vendor, international vendor. Like I said, the last guy I spoke with was I think he was down in Australia. He sounded like a surfer out there living the good life and trying to get us to try to get my client to buy some software, basically. And so part of this process really is because there's no penalties, and you have to make sure that there's no penalties, they want to try to establish some shortages so that you realize where your true position is, your true license ownership position, and then have you go and buy that software. So you true up. Okay, so you say, well, I'm 5 copies licenses short on Microsoft Office. Let's go buy those from an authorized reseller and let's do it. I can't confirm, but it is the belief that the consultant gets a piece of the deal or gets paid, somehow compensated for getting you to buy more software. So again, I can't confirm that, but that is what it appears to be. Okay, again, the copy of the estimated license ownership position, note the word estimated. Okay, this is Microsoft. They're looking at their records, but this is only an estimated position because, it's complicated. So, and sometimes I think they don't even really know or have the time to really drill down and spend the time it needs, especially for larger organizations. So this is an estimated license ownership position. You may see it listed as ELOP version 1, okay? Then that gets sent to the client or the attorney for review, comments, clarifications. The company then responds. Step 4, the company responds to the ELOP v1. The ELOP v1, and no, they're not, thankfully, not trying to steal my trademark logo there, so very similar, though. I'll have to keep an eye on them. But anyway, step 4, companies asked to show proofs of authorized resellers. These are proofs, dated purchase receipts, things that you have actually purchased the software. Maybe it didn't get into their system, so this is your chance to explain how you acquired the licenses, explain any shortages, clarify the number of users and devices. That goes to the issue of CAL licenses, which is a big thing. A lot of people don't understand all the CAL licenses they need. That's another whole area. By the way, if you wanted more information on the BitTorrent, you can Google BitTorrent Vondren. I have a license on the BitTorrent, so you understand that. And I also have a good video on the Microsoft CAL licenses. So you can put CAL licenses, Vondren, and you will get us that way as well. So 2 good videos to follow up on if you're interested in this area. Number 5, oftentimes you go through the spreadsheet, what you will see is, they're asking you to admit to your shortfalls. In other words, if you have proofs, provide them. If not, please click admit the shortfall. So they're going to add up all your admits, and they're going to try to find out how much you're short and what you need to be buying. Final estimated ownership, step 5, and then so you send in the deployment, they send your comments, you give the clarifications or you admit things are wrong, and then they send you the final estimated license ownership. ELOP v2 is what I'm going to call this, ELOP v2. So you can see it's a little back and forth ping pong game here, you, them. Finally, they're going to send you an estimated ownership entitlement position statement. Again, if there's any other errors, you'll have a chance to bring those up, to bring those to their attention. But otherwise, you're expected to remedy licensing shortages within about 14 days. You can usually get an extension if you're nice, and if they're in the mood for it, I suppose. But yeah, you can usually get an extension. They just want you to buy the software, and you may be asked to show the proofs. The licensing should appear in the database, but upon the final proof and verification, you will get a certificate of compliance. You did it. So anyway, but that's the basics of that. So you're going to get a certificate. You can feel good that yes, we're compliant. We've been through the process. We survived. And there you go. There you have it. Okay. Follow-up audits are possible. Final questions. We thank you for listening. Our firm has helped many clients, small and large, both national and international, in software audit cases. That would include Microsoft, Autodesk, Software Information Industry, Business Software Alliance. I myself am a former project manager for a software company, web-based ASP, former executive IP counsel, Arizona Bar Association on the IP section. Member of American Intellectual Property Law Association, Copyright Society of the USA, and our firm handles copyright law, infringement, software audits, and a lot of different types of technology type of cases. There is no substitute for experience. Be aware there are some new firms, some newbies popping up, looking for some practice area to hang their hat on. And so before you hire someone, make sure you check out their AVO ratings. We have, I believe, about 18 plus I may have more than that, 18 AVO ratings, and check the who is as well. Check their domain names out. Some newbies pop up and you see they've been in business for 1 year. Ask yourself, do I really want to trust my company, my potential infringement, potential bankruptcy, if we have too much licensed software, unlicensed software, piracy? Do I want to take my chances getting a software raid with somebody that their website shows they've been in business for a year or 6 months? Be careful, folks. It's a very tricky area of the law. Okay? For more information, you can catch us 877-276-5084 or visit for more information. I've packed this domain right here. If you need the information, go here, softwareauditlawyers.com, softwareauditlawyers.com. We thank you so much for listening. Feel free to share this video and PowerPoint on your social media networks, and make sure you subscribe. Click on that red V for victory, and so you can get future legal updates, business law, and intellectual property updates from Vondran Legal. We appreciate it. Have a great day. Take care now.